Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to Aussie Fish Keeping. So in today's video, we're actually going to be doing a full care guide of the zebra Danio. So the zebra Danio I do talk about a lot on my channel. They're by far one of the greatest fish for beginners. They're super cool looking, super active, and obviously super easy to care for. So in today's video, we're literally going to be going over everything there is to know about the zebra Danio, how to care for it properly, what it eats, literally everything you need to know. But yeah, I guess without any further ado, let's just jump straight into today's video. Alright, so the zebra Danio, or the zebrafish, or scientifically known as Danio rario, is a slender, fast-moving freshwater fish that is often found in slow-moving waterways in India and other surrounding countries. So one of the things that I think is super cool about Danios is they're actually a part of the Cyprinidae family, which obviously includes other fish like minnows, barbs, goldfish, bitterlings, and carps, meaning they're actually related to other common aquarium fish species like cherry barbs, silver sharks, white cloud minnows, tiger barbs, harlequin rasboris, and koi, as well as a variety of other aquarium fish out there. So Danios are a small fish. They max out at about 2 inches, and they actually have an average life expectancy of around 3 to 5 years. So as for care level for these guys, they're super easy. Like I said before, they're one of the greatest beginner fish out there. So the main reason these guys are great for beginners is because they're relatively peaceful and super hardy, and the water parameters they desire are super achievable for beginners. So there's no like weird water parameters that you're gonna have to keep these guys in. And as well as that, I mean, they're super active and super fun little fish to have. So if you have a small tank, you could probably fit about 5 of these in like a 20 liter, and they're always going to be moving, they're always going to be swimming. So they're just a great little fish to add in just to spice up your tank a little bit. So as for sexing these guys, it's a lot easier to sex them when they're in a large group like at the fish store. But basically the way I sex them is males will generally be a lot slimmer, a lot longer, and they won't have as round of a belly. Whereas females will obviously have a rounder belly, and you'll actually be able to tell sometimes that the lines on them curve just because of that rounder belly. So it can be a little bit easier to spot them that way. But besides that, there's no other real way of sexing them, I don't think. There may be, but yeah, like I said, that's just the way I've done it, and it's been super successful for me. So as for water parameters for these guys, like I said before, they are super easy to care for and they don't require any crazy water parameters. And one of the great things about them is they can actually be kept unheated. So the temperature you're going to want to keep these guys in should be anywhere between 18 to 24 degrees Celsius, which is obviously around 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And they also like a bit of a higher pH, but they can basically live in anything from about 6 to 8, which if you are a beginner, you're not going to have as much experience when it comes to buffering pH, and most tap water should be relatively alkaline, so about that 7 to 7.5, and these guys will absolutely thrive in that water. But yeah, besides that, there's nothing else when it comes to water parameters. Those are basically the 2 main parameters you're going to want to watch when you're keeping these guys. So moving on to diet for these guys, they're super easy to feed just because they're not picky whatsoever. So in the wild, Danios would eat all sorts of terrestrial and freshwater invertebrates, as well as small crustaceans. But obviously you don't have access to most of those in the aquarium hobby, and like I said before, they're not fussy whatsoever, so they'll eat all sorts of dry foods, live foods, and frozen foods. So as for dry foods, they'll eat any sort of pellets or tropical flakes. I tend to lean towards the flakes just because they do have pretty small mouths and it's kind of hard to find pellets that small. So as for live foods for these guys, they'll eat mosquito larvae, baby brine shrimp, daphnia, live blackworms, and practically any other sort of freshwater live invertebrate. And then as for frozen food, they'll eat bloodworms, brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, daphnia, mosquito larvae, and blackworms as well. So feeding them definitely isn't hard whatsoever. You can basically go into any pet shop or fish store and they will have food for Danios. So moving on to tank mates for these guys, they actually are notoriously quite nippy at times. So it's best to keep them with either bottom dwelling fish or other fast moving aquarium fish, and they definitely shouldn't be kept with any long finned fish like guppies or swordtails or things like that. So fish I would recommend are things like barbs, tetras, rasboras, bristlenose, corydoras, coeluroches, and dwarf cichlids. Obviously there definitely is other fish they can go with as well. You may just have to do a little bit of research on that. And I will just quickly say as well, the short-finned Danios are very nippy, but if you do get the long-finned variants, I do actually find that those long fins slow them down so they're nowhere near as nippy, and they can actually be kept with guppies and swordtails and other long-finned fish like that. Plus, in my opinion, the long-finned Danios do look a bit cooler anyway. And then as for tank setting for these guys, a minimum tank size should be 20 liters, just because they are a schooling fish, and in a 20-liter tank you could easily fit about 4 to 6 of these guys. And you should definitely have plenty of plants and moss in there for them to spar and spawn in. They may not actually spawn unless they have like the correct parameters, but they will definitely spar, and that's just like a supernatural thing for them to do. So it's great to have plants in there for them to do that. And obviously plants do make them feel a lot safer in your aquarium as well. So like I said in the beginning of the video, these guys are actually found in slow moving waterways. So if you can keep them with a slow flow filter like a sponge filter, that's obviously best, just because that's going to be simulating their natural habitat. And you're definitely going to need lids for these guys, just because they can jump, and they do generally hang around that top like section of your water anyway. So if they want to jump, they can quite easily jump out of your water. So lids are definitely necessary. But yeah, with that being said, I think I've covered practically everything when it comes to caring for your zebra Danios. If I did miss anything, make sure to leave it down in the comments below, and I might try and film like an updated version. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope this video helped you learn a thing or two about Danios. And if you are a beginner, I would highly recommend just going ahead and getting some. They're super easy and you definitely love them. They're a great little aquarium fish. But yeah, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. I always love going down there and reading them all, and I reply back to every comment I get. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in that next video.